best pro wrestling podcast. What does that mean? Shush!
What? No, yes.
That's right, geeks.
Sammy Wow Wow.
Knee to the face. Nakamura.
Yes.
This is the best pro wrestling podcast, and it indeed is Nakamura Day. Happy Nakamura Day, everybody.
Happy Nakamura Day.
You can't just make up holidays, guys.
I know. Happy Rusev Day. I'm sorry.
Oh, we'll get to that.
We'll get there.
My name is Tommy Stryker. This is the best pro wrestling podcast where we talk about the best pro wrestling in the world. At least we try to talk about everything WWE on this show. We talk about Ring of Honor and New Japan on an extra long, strong honor this week. There's a ton to talk about in that world, so go over there for that stuff. But today we're going to talk about Raw, the card for WrestleMania, starting to shape up. We've got Fastlane this weekend for the Smackdown side of things. We'll talk about that, as well as some 205 Live. We're continuing to improve the 205 Live sounder.
All right.
Which I had ran into some issues with this week, but anyway, that's a dumb story that doesn't matter. 205 Live, NXT as well, all that stuff shaping up for a very exciting WrestleMania season.
Yes,
so
sir.
we will for sure get into all of that. Where do we start this week? Should we start with a little bit of news? Not a ton of news to talk about, but
We have quite a bit of news for you.
we got Hillbilly Jim going into the Hall of Fame. That should be fun.
Oh, why not?
Yeah, exactly. And again,
Got my overalls on right now.
the Hall of Fame, there's no criteria. McMahon puts in whoever he wants, and it's really about making for an entertaining show and entertaining speeches, and what are these people going to say? We did have an interesting listener tweet this week asking if we have ever considered talking about possible future candidates for the Hall of Fame, and I said, well, we haven't talked about doing that yet. Maybe not today, maybe not this week, but maybe on another show as we get closer to the Hall of Fame. Because again, it's a combination of a lot of things. The WWE Hall of Fame, because there's an attitude of, well, who deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, and well, there's all these other people that are in the Hall of Fame that don't quote unquote deserve it. So what does it really matter? Because there's no criteria, and McMahon puts in whoever he wants anyway. So I mean, there's a fun discussion that you could have of, well, this person deserves to be in, but I'd like to see this person because I think they could have a really fun speech and it would be very entertaining. So maybe that'll be a discussion for somewhere down the line.
I can stew on that for a little bit.
Yeah, something to think about over the next couple of weeks as we get closer to WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame. And then, so interesting. Hillbilly Jim going in. I think that's fun. What else do we got news-wise? All in. If you're not familiar, we talked about this over on Strong Honor, but if you're not familiar at all, kind of give you the story of what's going on. The Bullet Club, or the Elite to be more precise, and the Elite of the Elite even more so, Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks are self-funding a show, basically a Ring of Honor show with some possible New Japan stars and some other indie talent, but it's basically it's their own show, and they're doing it in a 10,000 seat arena, basically to see if they can fill it up, to see if they can sell it out. And they finally announced that this all stemmed from somebody tweeting at Dave Meltzer saying, do you think Ring of Honor could ever sell out a 10,000 seat arena? And Dave Meltzer said, I don't think so, not anytime soon, basically. And Cody Rhodes responded, I'll take that challenge. And so that's
I think that person should probably get a free ticket or two.
Maybe. But anyway, that's kind of where the whole thing got started, the idea of it anyway, because Cody is convinced, and possibly the Bullet Club guys as well, that I think they could fill a 10,000 seat arena. So they've named the place. It's going to be the Sears Center in Chicago. I was very much hoping that it would be in Chicago, because I'm very willing to make that drive 6 hours from the Minneapolis area. So I'm very excited to see that. I believe it's going to be a really historic moment in indie wrestling, but just Ring of Honor's never ran a building that big. I don't think TNA has. Maybe they. Well, no, I guess TNA has ran that building before, but I don't know if they've ever sold it out or came close to it. So certainly,
I think they've been up there before.
Yeah,
attendance wise, but rarely.
Right, and certainly not any time recently have they been in any kind of competition. Not competition, but have they had that kind of buzz about them where they could sell out a building.
They could
like
barely sell out the Hardy compound.
Right? They have like 10 friends there.
Let that sink in for a minute.
Yeah, there's that. But no, so I'm excited for the All In show. Should be a lot of fun, a lot of cool indie stars on that. Again, like I said, talked about that over on Strong Honor. I think that was the WWE announced that they are going to do a show in Saudi Arabia, and that's going to be the biggest Royal Rumble ever.
50 men.
It's going to be the greatest Royal Rumble ever.
50-man Royal Rumble. It's not the Royal Rumble. It's not the big pay-per-view every January. They're just going to have a Royal Rumble style match at this big house show, essentially, in Saudi Arabia. I did see also that they're going to be, I don't know that they've announced this yet, but I saw somewhere online that they're going to be doing a 100,000 seat arena in Australia.
Cool.
It's
Comparing it to the Global Wars or the Global Tours back in the day.
I don't know what it has to. It might have to do something more along the lines of Ronda Rousey sold out that building in her fight with Holly Holm, I believe.
Oh, sure.
And so big arena in Australia, and again, it's a country that WWE doesn't go to a lot. So
bring her back to where she got her ass
mentioned
whooped. Great move. Great.
They did mention it on Raw. Cole mentioned it just a small bit because he mentioned that there's going to be like an Australia tour that will involve that big show.
Yep,
and then just kind of went with there's more details to come kind of thing.
Right, because we don't know if it's going to be an actual pay-per-view yet or if it's just another house. Be awful big for a house show, so you.
God, I want to watch that long Rumble though.
It's going to be like 30-second intervals between people coming out for the 50-man Rumble.
But it's a Rumble.
Yeah, and a lot of filler, too. A lot of Titus Worldwide and Heath Slater.
No, I'm glad they're taking chances like this because, it was only a year ago that they were really focusing on the UK and announcing all that shit. Never really went anywhere. I'd rather kind of have random house shows or mini tours like this, but with pride, in Australia or the Middle East or Abu Dhabi, wherever the fuck they end up. So that's cool. Yeah, that Australia one should be pretty cool. And I'm hoping it turns into it sounds like it probably will be a pay-per-view. I don't know why you wouldn't. And I know a lot of the Europe people over there, the UK people really want a WrestleMania over there. And as much as I wanted to keep on this side in the States, it would be historical to have a big event like that. Yeah, really. I don't think they've done anything big over there since that SummerSlam at Wembley Stadium back in the day in 92 or something like that. So it's been a while since they've had something big. Even just a regular, even doing like a Money in the Bank or just some random
or even like
pay-per-view over there would be noteworthy.
They did those couple shows, random house shows, but like the Beast in the East, just these shows that technically don't have a lot of implications in the sense, I got to watch Brock Lesnar fight Kofi Kingston in that one, kind of thing. Yeah. But like these could be these shows, you could involve some of the implications from them. You don't have to do it all. There can be a lot of filler in those. Well, and also make it count. With WWE going back to co-branded pay-per-views, just one pay-per-view a month. They're not flooded with extra pay-per-view costs and whatnot because obviously with the addition of the Smackdown branded pay-per-views, they did not gain a significant number of WWE Network subscriptions enough to sustain that type of business. So they just said, well, we'll just go back to doing it the way we were, since that didn't affect much change or any change. So that's getting off on a tangent here. But, that happens. Anyway, good stuff there. I don't think I have any other news stuff that I wanted to talk about here. So let's move into let's talk about this week's Raw. A pretty newsworthy Raw, I guess. Change the subject. Monday Night Raw. Yeah, like I said, the card for WrestleMania is definitely
shaping up at this point.
Hell yeah.
We get the official announcement that it will be Ronda Rousey and Kurt taking on Triple H and Stephanie. This one I thought, again, it's something we all saw coming. And again, we try to keep it positive on this show. I think in the long run that this will be a positive thing for Ronda Rousey being in there with the biggest heater of all, Stephanie McMahon. Talked about this last week, of course, but just the setup for this whole thing is just it's so clunky with Stephanie and Triple H being in charge, but Kurt's the matchmaker, so he can make whatever match he wants. And, I just thought it was funky as hell. But I thought Ronda did a good job again this week as well as last week.
Yeah, I'm just glad they didn't draw it out for a couple weeks and be like, here's our new toy, here's our new toy, here's our new toy, with nothing going on. I'm glad to see that Ronda Rousey's actually getting involved, interacting. I'm glad that Stephanie McMahon is involving, interacting slowly, and so I'm glad they're picking up the pace with this type of story going on. So yeah, I'm open on it.
I'm still hoping for a Stephanie McMahon training montage now at this point, because again, like they've mentioned that they're trying to go for almost a Stone Cold Mr. McMahon kind of thing.
Sure.
With these two, I need that training montage if you want this to be a thing.
Her and Triple H just putting her through the tasks or whatever.
Well, and I'm trying to remain positive as much in the fact that I'm going to get to see Triple H and Kurt Angle in a ring. I get to see Ronda Rousey, step into a WWE ring. That is a big thing. It sucks it's against Stephanie McMahon, but I get it. I know what they're doing, and it makes sense.
I thought that we had some contact between Stephanie and Ronda Rousey that I did not expect. I kind of thought that they might keep these two completely separate until WrestleMania. But
that's what I'm saying. I'm glad they had that progress picked up at pace.
Yeah, to me, I probably would have been okay with it either way, but it definitely ramped the thing up with Ronda finally actually getting her hands on Stephanie and throwing her down with that Samoan drop there. Looked a little rough. That wasn't a great first wrestling move to do to Stephanie. But again,
Stephanie McMahon didn't help.
Yeah, right, exactly. So there's that too.
Well, she actually tweeted out about that. I guess it was more of a judo move as opposed to an actual Samoan drop.
Well, there you go. Making excuses already. I see where this is going. No, just going for, like, there was that quote unquote training video that got leaked like a week or two ago. That was that was actually from like 4 years ago of her. Ronda Rousey just playing around with Shayna Baszler in a boxing ring. Just from looking at something like that and the little clips that we've seen of like her training with Brian Kendrick and whoever, you can tell that she's got some natural ability there. And obviously with the combat background, that's going to come in. That's going to help, I think.
Oh, so, yeah, she's gonna be okay. It's just. Like I said on last week's show, I'm glad they're not putting her in that position where it's like her and Asuka or her and Charlotte. It's like, no, that's going to be a good money fight right there. Don't give it to us right away. Put a better Ronda in that situation.
I heard I heard people arguing for, well, we got to put Ronda in there right away with with Charlotte, Ronda and Charlotte. But then what do you do after that? If Ronda beats like your best champion, what do you do after that? You got to build up to that, right?
Right.
If it's Ronda and Charlotte, boom, right away, it's like dream match. Yeah, that's great. But what do you do after that? And then you also run the risk of, well, Charlotte is super popular with the WWE fans right now, the wrestling fans, that Ronda's going to come out and be an instant heel. I mean, if that's what you want, sure, that would be fine. But I don't think that's what they want.
We even got her girl in NXT there, fucking Shayna Baszler. She's fucking dominating too right now. So a year from now, who knows? She could be in that spot where it's like, no, what are you doing here? Get out! Like,
but yeah, I think
there's so much to do.
But the smart move is take it slow with Ronda. Get her over. She has to get over with the crowd. That's been proven over and over. If you just throw somebody out there without having any kind of quote unquote credibility with the crowd, it's like, look at fucking Jinder Mahal this year. Right. 6 months as champion, everybody hated it, and now that he's not champion and he's sitting down there in the mid card, everybody's like, oh, this is okay spot for him because he was champion for a while there. But still, he didn't. While he was champion, that diminished everybody's view of SmackDown. It's like when JBL was champion. It's like, what the fuck is this? Am I gonna watch this crap?
I thought he was a great champion.
Well, that's just like your opinion, man. So anyway,
brilliant champion.
but yeah, slow burn with Ronda.
Cabinet man.
Get her over by having her defeat Stephanie McMahon. Now, I will not be surprised. We've got several weeks before WrestleMania here, and Ronda has looked really good. So I would not be surprised if they spend a couple of weeks, especially the couple of weeks right before WrestleMania, with Stephanie and H getting more heat back on themselves and looking, doing the whole standing tall over Ronda and Kurt thing. So look for that to come in the weeks to come here.
Fun.
Yes. Other stuff. Well, speaking of the women's division and Asuka and potential opponents in the future, we talked about Charlotte there. But Nia Jax versus Asuka, the rematch from the last pay-per-view.
Points.
What was the last Raw pay-per-view? Now I can't think. Elimination Chamber. So this was the rematch from the Clinton Dix Bowl.
I was like, it's not Hell in a Cell, but it's Hell in a Cell.
Elimination Chamber, the rematch. This time, Asuka won with the armbar submission. Alexa Bliss is talking before the match, saying that this might end Asuka's career. She's got Mickie James continuing to be her best friend by her side,
wearing black.
It's still awkward, by the way. Like they quote unquote made up before before Elimination Chamber on like a 30-second thing, but it still just seems like
and
so
then did
stupid.
nothing with each other in the chamber.
Yeah, did nothing with each other in the chamber, and it still feels like Mickie James is being really foolish for trusting Alexa Bliss, let alone being her fucking friend. But anyway, so she's faithfully by Alexa Bliss's side the entire night, and so awkwardly too. So like, Asuka does defeat Nia Jax, and I really liked the finish. It was with the armbar submission, but she's Nia Jax is struggling, trying to get out. She's getting her in the triangle. She's trying to powerbomb her, and Asuka's just hanging on, and finally submits her. And then you got the deal afterwards where Alexa Bliss is quote unquote being her friend, but she's going up to her and fucking with her emotions, making her cry more. And so I liked that part. But again, it was the way it started, like Asuka, or not Asuka, but Clinton Dix and Mickie James and Alexa Bliss are walking in, and Alexa Bliss like, Mickie, go on, get out of here. I got this by myself.
Right?
Like,
yeah.
Why even have her there anyway? It's like fucking, it was so weird.
Got to show her to sending her off, you know?
like,
she's got that power.
My best friend follows me everywhere so faithfully that I have to have a private moment. I have to she doesn't even have to be there anyway. She looks stupid for trusting Alexa Bliss. So I just thought that was interesting. But I do like that they're building up to this dynamic where Alexa Bliss is playing with Nia's emotions. I really strongly feel at this point that Nia needs to be a babyface. She just seems very likable. Like the social media side, the stuff on Mixed Match Challenge was fun. I haven't seen Total Divas this past season, but I understand she's very nice and likable on that show as well.
She's the Rock's bloodline, yeah.
One at a time.
I don't remember said.
You said it doesn't surprise me at all.
Okay.
I said it's the Rock's, it's that bloodline. They're just fucking happy people, go-lucky people. And it's like, it fucking shines, that she is that type of person. And that's like wins me over almost as a fan of hers. And then I like that match on Raw reminded me why I don't like watching her wrestle. Like it's hard. It's so hard to watch her wrestle. And I really hate saying that.
And there was a lot of like sloppy things in there. Another sloppy Samoan drop. I guess it was a judo thing, right? Like a sloppy Samoan job and a sloppy cover. The press slam looked really good, but again, a lot of that's Asuka.
She has her moments, and like I when she's in the ring, I want her doing like old Iron Sheik moves, just constant slams and stuff like that, and she just doesn't seem like she really wants to lift the women or do anything really. So I want to see how she wrestles as a face. Maybe she might be able to come across more natural in the ring that way to me. She needs something different at this point.
It's tough for her. It's going to be tough for her to pull off a WWE babyface because WWE babyfaces get beaten up. That's how
Yeah.
the way WWE books babyfaces is you beat up the babyface and the babyface makes a big comeback, hits their 3 clotheslines, and then you start working in the false finishes. So it's going to be hard to pull off Nia Jax getting beaten up for 5 minutes and making a big comeback. Now that's not the only way, obviously, to book pro wrestling, but that's the way WWE does, which is it can be their patterned way of booking wrestling. As we've talked about on this show, how many times we've talked about the match with the typical TV spots, where it's the same every time, and you do the spot outside, here comes the commercial break, and you're coming back, and they're working a chin lock, and they're building up the hope spot, so the babyface does 3 punches to the gut, off the ropes, duck the clothesline, heel back on top, and they continue to build up the comeback. And look, I'm not knocking it entirely. It's a great fundamental way to do things, but when it's the same every time, it's like it's predictable, it's boring. It's if you watch the show every week, it's okay, here he comes again. So in that regard, I don't think, getting back to the Nia Jax thing, I don't think Nia Jax would work as that type of babyface. She should be a dominant wrestler. She's like the Braun Strowman type. Like Braun Strowman's not running around selling; he's just a badass. If she could just be a badass, whoop some heels' asses, then I think he could really build her up into something.
Whoop some asses, flaunt herself a little bit. That's what she does. That's what she's winning people over on social media, is that personality. It's just, don't be another Tamina.
Just going back, does sloppy Samoan drop sound like a sex act?
Hold on.
I was hoping I would get that.
We got to get this one for Joey.
That is so profane,
Joe.
and rude.
All right. Speaking of profane and rude and getting over as a badass, we just brought up Braun Strowman. The Symphony of Destruction match.
Amazing match.
We've moved away from Pantera references and gone complete Megadeth. I forgot I was going to get a Megadeth soundbite in here, but
I love that someone tweeted out that don't let Dave Mustaine see this. He might sue you and say that he's the victim.
Right. But as I just had my little mini rant about the WWE doing things formulaic in a formulaic manner, here is the Braun Strowman exception to the rule, because he's not been one of these guys that's been getting beaten up and has to sell, and make a comeback. He's just gotten over by being a big badass. And so, again, you could do that same thing with Nia Jax. Fun match here with Braun Strowman.
Are you saying murder Nia Jax?
No. I don't.
What?
Because they murdered Braun Strowman like twice now.
Oh, I see, like in the garbage dump. And
well, I mean, yeah.
It's like, what the fuck you getting at?
You could certainly give her the superpowers, too,
I want the superpower Nia Jax.
Yeah.
Was it on this show where Braun stopped Elias from driving away in a car?
Yes, it is.
It's so obnoxious that it's funny, but it's working. So
you gotta use it while it's hot, though. That's the unfortunate side to giants, to big guys, is like big show can only be so dominant and reigning for so long. Lesnar, in a sense, before he can at least show up when he wants, but it's got to come in waves with the big guys. Mark Henry, like, look how long his career was until he really got a dominant. I'm a fucking big champion. So
the problem with those is after their initial runs, they were really treated poorly. Like Big Show, he was back and forth, babyface heel. Nobody gave a fuck about him. They were chanting, "Please retire" at him a number of years ago. Same thing, not quite as bad with Mark Henry, but he was another guy that went back and forth quite a bit.
But I just, I don't really know much of Big Show's WCW era, but I believe he was champion, so obviously he had to have a good dominant I'm a giant streak, and then lost and some shit came down and he came to WWE right off the bat. He was, dominant, I'm a fucking monster, down a little bit, came back, champion, went away again. So it's just, I don't know, you just can't really put him out like the giants out there as a regular match on a weekly basis. They need to be a treat, something special, something you see, less of. And that's where I go back to like Nia Jax is like, I want to see less of her in the ring, but she needs to develop more she needs to be special when she's actually wrestling.
We got to get Nia Jax flipping more pianos, is what you're saying, I think.
Yep.
So that was a lot of fun, flipping the piano on top of Elias, getting the win there for Strowman. Bray Wyatt took on Rhino and won with the sister Abigail, but the fun stuff here, we are getting something different. We had Matt Hardy proposing the ultimate deletion and moving to the Hardy compound. We had our first sighting of Vanguard 1 on WWE programming. This was the something different that we have been waiting for. Now it's just a matter of the question of what do they do between now and WrestleMania to keep it interesting, as well as at WrestleMania.
Training videos?
Well, it sounds like they're not going to do this
Frazier
at WrestleMania, so it sounds like it's going to happen before WrestleMania.
Interesting.
Probably on a Raw, but Jeff Hardy was actually cleared to wrestle again, so it kind of seems like odd timing that this shit kind of dragged on for as long as it did, and Jeff Hardy's cleared, and now they're doing it, so
now we'll do the ultimate deletion on Raw, and then the House of Horrors match at WrestleMania is what you're saying. So,
if Bray Wyatt is dipped in the lake, does he come out Husky Harris?
I mean, it should happen. That's how it works. So I guess we'll see. We did see Hardy dragging around the boat, the dilapidated boat.
The Skarsgård.
Skarsgård. So fun. I'm glad that they're finally doing something new. It took way too long to get to this
using
point.
that TNA footage, too.
Well, I don't know if they were using TNA footage necessarily.
I don't think that was new footage.
I'm pretty sure it was new.
I'm pretty sure Rebby Hardy tweeted about, I was taping that stuff 5 days ago.
Oh. So, I thought like some of those like just zoom in shots of Matt Hardy were like the older ones.
No, I think it was all new.
All right,
stuff.
well, fuck it. Don't edit that out.
We had Paul Heyman making his response to
Clinton Dix. Who else would it be?
To Roman Reigns, of course, the week before, talking about the Universal title belt. Will he show up with the UFC belt? Stuff like that. He says he's going to make Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar's bitch. Brock Lesnar is, of course. This is interesting, talking about showing up with the UFC belt, because that's quite impossible, because the second Brock goes back to the UFC, he has to finish serving his 1-year suspension. So there's that. But I do like that they are, this is smart, right? We talked about this last week, how they're blurring the lines between work and shoot, and people are buying it, and that's fun. That's what makes wrestling fun, is working bits of reality into the story. And there is the reality of Brock Lesnar and his contract, and him not being around very often, which is a smart thing for Roman Reigns to bring up into the storyline. And I like Paul Heyman working the angle here as well, that, Brock Lesnar's contract is up soon. He's teasing the idea of going to UFC. Will he show up at WrestleMania with the UFC championship belt? Even though it's preposterous, it's still, to people that don't know, it's a distinct possibility, or at least something fun to think about just going forward in that
It's a good way of incorporating the dirt sheets into the product. Yeah. What I really enjoyed with this promo, though, was when he left and came back with the championship, and it was like it was a really long promo, but that's just what he does. The first half was, obviously about the two of them and the fight coming up, but when he came back to the ring, most of that promo was about that Universal Championship, why it should be decorated and celebrated. So I really was happy that he did that, because that belt kind of needs that at this point.
Needed something.
Yes. Okay, what
we didn't even bring up everybody getting butthurt over Brock showing up and doing a 30-second match with Kane.
Oh, yeah, on the Chicago house show. He did that, yeah. And I'm glad you brought that up, because this plays into this whole storyline, in my opinion. Because, he quote-unquote no shows at last Monday's Raw. So WWE, Paul Heyman, everybody's tweeting, Brock Lesnar will be at the house show. He will definitely be there. He shows up, has a 30-second match, whoops the shit out of Kane, and, runs away, leaves quickly. basically, and this is like the match right before intermission, so not even the main event. So that just plays into. He's a part-time guy. He shows up when he needs to. Oh, he's just gonna work a shitty match with Kane. Oh, fuck this guy. Yay, Roman. Yay,
oddly
Roman.
enough, he has a
Put
match
the
this Friday at the
championship on
Target
Roman.
Center against The Miz in a champion versus champion match.
Speaking, did you guys get tickets to the house show? Are you going?
I don't know yet.
I know Dave's going.
Okay, it's something I've thought about, and I don't. Again, I've been to a lot of WWE shows at the Target Center, but usually it's the TV taping or not Monday Night Raw or
pay-per-view
or something.
Smackdown.
Haven't been to a house show there, and I like the idea of going to the house show experience. But again, in a big arena, where is my seat going to be? I'm kind of a snob because I got to sit front row at a WWE show. And so now it's like anytime going back, like sitting back in the stands is going to be like, this ain't so cool.
Right.
So I've become a bit of a wrestling fan snob, I guess. And also I like an indie show experience too, where it's a smaller setting, it's up close and personal. So it's tough to get that in a big arena when you're sitting way back. Although I'm going to All In, and I don't care if I have to sit in the back row because I'm that kind of hypocrite. So,
Right.
so I don't know if I'm going to go. Just why do I need to see Brock Lesnar and The Miz for 30 seconds?
Right.
But again, I am curious about, because I haven't been to a house show since I was a kid, so I'd be thinking it would be fun going and experiencing the house show experience, because it's different.
They're more laid back for sure, and
when you get more good wrestling,
yeah. We went to one a couple of years ago in Rochester, Minnesota, and it was just in a small civic center type of thing, and it was just so open, like you could literally, it felt like you just walk up to the ring. It was just there. Not like a Target Center experience or anything like that. So yeah, the house shows are very weird.
So on a show today, this show, the Best Pro Wrestling Podcast, where earlier, just moments ago, I had a big rant about formulaic matches where everything's predictable and oh my God, you see all this shit coming. We had The Bar versus The Revival. And so again, I'm proving myself wrong by ranting about these things, because this match did not feel like a typical WWE style match. I expected The Revival to get a win because it was their chance to make it to WrestleMania. And a lot of us have been waiting for the Revival's push, but since coming up to the main roster, getting injured right away, they've been reluctant to do anything significant with the Revival.
And just because you've brought it up before, but even unannounced, they point out in this match the size difference, the much bigger size difference between the Bar and the Revival, and I think, excuse me, and I think that size difference is actually affecting them. I don't want that. That makes me really sad, because I really love the Revival as a tag team.
And they told that story really well in this match too. It was hard hitting. It was back and forth, but every time it looked like the Revival were starting to get a little bit of momentum, Sheamus and Cesaro would just cut them off, and it would be more powerful, more dominant, and just bigger, and they would just dominate the next section of the match. And the Revival just never got the momentum turned around.
They're just going to have to work harder, though. That's just what it is. They face the fact.
But I think
they are the smaller guys, and they have two fucking an injury each, and put them on the shelves for way too fucking long.
But
so
the thing is they can tell the story of the quote smaller guys. I mean, they did it with the Authors of Pain. Some of the greatest matches in NXT were DIY, AOP.
No, for sure, 100%.
So I think this is the story, obviously, that they wanted to tell of the Bar being a dominant team. So it's not to me, it's not a matter of the Revival need to work harder, do this, and that, and the other thing. They just need to hopefully keep getting over and rely on the people in charge of Vince McMahon.
Well, I was just saying, these two guys are going to have to fucking grind. Everyone expecting them to be in the title picture. You look at Emma, everyone expected her to be thrown in the title picture and be, reigning champion of the women, and that wasn't the case. It's just, you lose faith with the people in the back, and you just that's the truth, though, is you're going to have to work harder. You have to prove yourself to them again, in a sense. It sucks. I don't like it. I want the revival and fucking top matches or top guys.
So we have the Bar with no opponents at WrestleMania at this time. They've beaten everybody on the roster. They put it out there on Twitter, and of course the Young Bucks responded by saying, well, we don't have anything booked that day. So, so that was a fun thing. But yeah, who are the Bar going to face at WrestleMania? The Hardys, perhaps?
All right. How much would you shit your pants if the Bar's out there talking and shit and everything like that, and fucking War Machine came out? Because, I mean, they're established. Let's be honest. They just have to do work in the Performance Center. They just have to do some work in the Performance Center, not to swear in their promos, and basically just learn a little bit of the WWE ropes, and they're ready to go.
Double yup.
I can't disagree with anything you just said.
That would be amazing.
Other than, it would be really cool. But I wonder if it would be a little too niche, because I mean, fans like us, fans that listen to podcasts, but would that greater WWE fan base even know who those guys are? I mean, your NXT fans are going to know, but I mean, they've had the only exposure they've had on NXT were sitting in a front row. So even like you're just WWE fans that don't watch any Ring of Honor or New Japan or any of that, they may have heard of them. They may have seen them sitting in the front row at the NXT show, but even they don't have that familiarity yet. So I don't know that War Machine would get over on that level unless they just came.
I think the match would make the difference in that.
Absolutely.
Like that could change like a lot of people's minds instantly because of being at WrestleMania. You have more eyes on the product than you're ever going to have most of the year.
Again,
it's probably not going to happen.
I agree with that, and I think it would be really cool. And
it would be cool.
And at WrestleMania, that WrestleMania crowd, that international traveling crowd, is going to know who War Machine is.
It's just you gotta get a couple of them cheering, and then other people are gonna cheer with them. Fuck it, that's a crowd.
If they have a kick-ass match on WrestleMania, come back and do the rematch on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania.
Both of those crowd of the year.
Both of those hot crowds going crazy for War Machine. It's a possibility, and I think it would be. Yeah, I would, like you said, I would shit my pants.
Yeah, that's basically what would happen.
Get this one here.
That is so profane.
Tommy Straker.
And rude.
Not too often get to play that one.
That's a classic.
Then we had the Cena promo, and this will kind of tie into the Smackdown discussion going into Fastlane. He says that he's gonna break the record on Sunday. He's gonna he's gonna win the championship in the 6-pack challenge, and then he stressed, "Hey, AJ Styles, go ahead and invoke that rematch clause, and let's make it a 3-way at WrestleMania." So this got a lot of people's gears grinding. A lot of people thinking.
That's great, though.
It's a fun thing to think about. And then we had, since we're talking the Raw thing, we had the very odd Gold Dust segment.
Yeah.
I mean, it is gold.
I enjoyed it.
It is Gold Dust, so Gold Dust being odd, yeah, sure. But then the awkward match, and then John Cena, of course, just winning was fine. But yeah, the beginning of the match was very awkward. The promo itself was like, what the fuck is going... I kept waiting for John Cena to be like, yo, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? But it didn't happen.
You could see it on his face, though.
Yeah, a little bit. But I thought it was fun. It was nice to see Gold Dust get in. And we'd never seen Gold Dust and John Cena in a match before. I pointed
that out, too.
So, yeah, I thought that part was cool about it too. Bayley versus Mandy Rose. Bayley getting just escaping the match, really getting the win with the roll up, but Mandy Rose dominating the match. The Absolution attacking her after, and then of course the big story here: Sasha Banks coming to save the day, but Bayley not willing to give her the hug. The hugger won't hug. What has gone wrong with Bayley?
The ultimate insult.
But I like the developing story here. Do these two get a singles match?
Yes.
At WrestleMania?
Yes.
You think so?
I think so, just because people have already been bringing it up, but apparently there hasn't been a women's single match that doesn't have some form of championship or stipulation at WrestleMania. That boggles my fucking mind a little bit. Like, that's surprising. Like, I couldn't believe that that's actually a stat, and not in the insulting way, but just in the, it hasn't happened yet. You know, so to like do it with these two, like, I mean, this was the Iron Woman match right here. Like, we know what they could do if put on the right stage and given the right time.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, well, and really that is the question: what kind of time will it get? Because again, WrestleMania marathon show, lots of matches.
They just need to start it 2 hours earlier. I can get it done. I just don't need to stay up till 1 o'clock.
Well, and God forbid it end up on the pre-show or something too. So I mean, there's that possibility.
See, I feel like they should just take the pre-shows more serious.
Well,
Make it feel like, you know, worth watching. Like when you watch a UFC or a Bellator fight or even a boxing fight, there's the preliminary fights, and not UFC more recently, but there used to be some fucking good, fucking solid fights on there. You know,
you got the scrappers, man.
But it's not that case.
Well, once in a while you do hear about good pre-show matches.
Yeah,
I just think there's just there's a couple of things working against it. One, WrestleMania itself is already a 5-hour, 6-hour show, whatever the fuck it is. So the main show is already way too long. You tack on extra stuff on a pre-show, that's going to turn a lot of people off. The other thing turning people off from it is that historically there just hasn't been a lot of good stuff on there. So yeah, you hear about good stuff being on there once in a while, but again, I think you bring up a good point.
The pre-shows have like 2, maybe 3 matches, just roughly throwing a number out there, and it's just mostly them talking. Bring down the talking, give more matches, but still hype up the fucking fight that's coming on. It's just, you can still get a message out there.
Yeah, you definitely don't need more talking segments.
Yeah, I don't need Sam Roberts' fucking goofy ass running around in the streets.
All right, let's change the subject. Let's get into our official Fastlane predictions.
Change the subject.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Smackdown Live.
I can be a superhero. I'm going to make this a tag team match. Sit there.
Oh, please give us more Fastlane this weekend. Again, big weekend coming up. Fastlane on Sunday. We got a Ring of Honor pay-per-view on Friday night for all of you Honor Club members, as well as the New Japan Cup starting Friday night, as well a single elimination tournament starting. The whole first round is taking place over the next week. So a lot of stuff to talk about, including Fastlane. Tell me, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being not interested at all, 10 being very excited, oh my god, WrestleMania is almost here, what is your excitement level for Fastlane?
You know, I'd give it a pretty solid 7.
Okay. See, I was gonna say like a 6 out of 10. You know, like I'm excited. I'd be more excited once we're like actually on the road, you know, like past this pay-per-view. There's no more pay-per-views in between. Like, and again, it's my birthday weekend. Like, I get excited for this fucking week every single year. And
happy Rusev Day.
Yeah, happy Rusev Day to you too.
Happy Nakamura Day is what I say. I think
you can't make up holidays.
All right, so yeah, Fastlane. We did have a couple of new matches announced this week. Naomi and Becky Lynch are going to be taking on the team of Carmella and Natalya. Becky Lynch did defeat Carmella this week with the Disarm Her on SmackDown
Good
Live.
match.
Yeah, not a bad match. Carmella got a pretty good amount of the offense. I thought this was your typical babyface sell, make a comeback, go to the finish. This was definitely that match, but we have not seen a lot out of Carmella recently.
This is the most.
Her gimmick has been like the shitty runaway kind of heel, and so she actually got some stuff in here. So yeah, decent match there. Set up the awful backstage skit between Naomi and Natalya that set up this match between these two. I kind of would have preferred just to see a Naomi Natalya one-on-one. I'm sure we'll get that next week on SmackDown.
No tag match.
What's your predictions for this one?
Your prediction.
Let me hit the big one. Predictions.
I think the babyfaces win it, especially going into WrestleMania.
Yeah. Second that notion.
Since Becky Lynch won today, I predict Carmella getting the win on the pay-per-view over former champion Naomi. Carmella,
she's got that briefcase. She's going to lose until she cashes in.
That's probably right. So Natalya will get the win at the pay-per-view.
I'm not mad at that.
Change my mind. God damn it.
I like me some Natalia.
Of course, we got the another match here added to the pay-per-view. Rusev very upset that that Nakamura may have crushed Aiden English's larynx with his knee to the throat. He missed his face. He got him in a knee.
Could have ruined a career.
Knee to the face.
He didn't get a Rusev Day song.
So, yeah, he couldn't sing him the Rusev Day song. He challenges Nakamura to a match. Nakamura accepts, and when he defeats him, it will be
Nakamura Day.
Can't get enough of that one. So, yeah, it should be fun. I'm thinking, of course, Nakamura is going to get the win here. He's got to build up the momentum going into the big match at WrestleMania.
I'm hoping this is surprise of the night. Like, they put on a good, decent match. I mean, these two could go at it really hard. And, again, like you said, it builds Nakamura, but Nakamura definitely gets the win.
I got to go back to Rusev. If you go back to him and saying you just can't make up days, bro, it's like he doesn't have an accent when he says it. It's the best. I just love pointing that out.
Yes, that was very good.
Yeah, I'm hoping Rusev shines in this a little bit, though. Nakamura's got that free ride into WrestleMania at this point, so I hope he kind of gives the dog a bone and, put on a good fucking show for us.
Well, I think it'll be a typical WWE match. Rusev will dominate. Nakamura will sell, make his big 3 clothesline comeback, hit a knee to the face, and win. So that'll probably be how it goes. But I'd like to see a competitive match. I'd like to see good back and forth. I think they both need it. I think Nakamura needs. I mean, he's over. The music's over. The entrance is over. Rusev is definitely over with the whole Rusev Day thing.
I don't feel like Nakamura. He needs like a really good showing, but Rusev, I don't know. Like you got 6 other guys. Like I'm glad that John Cena got thrown into this match because it's not about. The championship almost doesn't feel about going to WrestleMania for the championship. It almost feels like going to WrestleMania to face Nakamura.
Sure.
He almost feels like the championship at this point.
See, to me, I see what you're saying, but that Nakamura doesn't feel like the champion. He won the Royal Rumble. He's got that prestige behind him, but I just haven't seen him in enough build-up matches yet. I mean, he had the win this last week versus Aiden English.
Dude, I've been ragging on him since his good match in NXT.
Yeah, he's needed some good matches to build him up, and we just haven't seen a lot of that. Yeah, he's over with the entrance and everything, and people are into him, but I just feel like that cornerstone match or whatever that I can't think of what the term would be, but just that match that stands out. That that was the fucking match. We just haven't seen that in a long time from Nakamura. So I think this could be that match. I think Rusev and Nakamura could deliver. Will they do it? I don't know. I don't have much faith, but I'm looking forward to it. I think it could be. I'm hopeful. I'm optimistic. Cautiously so optimistic. Then for the U.S. title, we have Randy Orton taking on
Bob Roode.
Bob Roode. Okay, let's sidebar real quick into the Mixed Match Challenge.
Please do that.
What does that mean?
It was fun and everything, but you have Rusev just fucking going off on the chat room and everything, and he's just like, I will not call you Bobby. I'm a man. No man calls another man Bobby.
Bob Roode.
That's good. I like that he keeps that gimmick going. This one for the U.S. title. What's you guys' predictions first on this one? Predictions.
It's really hard with this one because I just feel like this title's stale. With what they've had going on with it. I think Randy Orton walks in with that United States title. He gets that last title that he needs in WWE. Isn't that the last one he needs?
I believe so. Yeah, he's never had the U.S. title before.
So I think Randy Orton gets that belt.
Taco.
It's very bituminous of you, Joe.
Hold on. Where did the damn thing go?
What does that mean?
Damn. I don't see Randy Orton taking it yet. It should be like a WrestleMania moment, I guess. I see Bob Roode keeping it.
My prediction officially for this match is definitely some
Skullduggery.
and possibly
Distraction. Too many distractions.
Jinder Mahal is going to get involved in this one. He's been involved the entire time on the way into it, and we end up getting some sort of multi-person match at WrestleMania. Certainly a 3-way, if not a 5, 6, 7-way at WrestleMania for the U.S. title. So this one, I predict some sort of skullduggery.
Oh shit! Randy Orton won the fucking belt last year, didn't he? At WrestleMania, the championship.
Yeah, the championship.
Then forget my idea. Fuck that.
Well, he didn't win the U.S. title, but
it's not a WrestleMania moment. I take back what I said. It's very bituminous.
Okay, we're just gonna keep moving along here.
What does that mean?
The Usos versus the New Day for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Nice video package this week on SmackDown talking about their feud over the last year between these two, and even the history going back even further than that. But yeah, these two teams have had some really great matches this year, and we were kind of glad that when it was over because they really spent up all the equity on it. But coming back to it now in this moment feels kind of okay, and I've liked the build-up. Good promos last week from both Big E and the Usos, so that's one thing that's really kept this thing fresh, is that both of these teams have been able to, in the promos, just keep it interesting.
For sure.
So I'm thinking on this one that the Usos are gonna take those titles all the way to WrestleMania. I really liked their promo last week where they talked about, we've been in this company for X amount of years. We've never had our WrestleMania moment. We've never had the what did they say? Was it a championship one-on-one match or
yeah, they haven't had no just a one-on-one tag team match, and this is where you're just talking about the Bar needing someone to face at WrestleMania. Kind of sidebar, the rumor mill right now is that the 205 is getting their tag titles going on in their division.
Sure.
So having 3 tag titles, that's kind of a clusterfuck. Not even counting NXT's there.
What does that mean?
With the whole split pay-per-views being not a thing anymore, I almost want the Usos being saying fuck it, champion for championships,
Usos versus the Bar,
because Usos Bar, I believe they're one-on-one when it comes to matches now. So like I said earlier, you get that rubber match going, the grudge match going on, find out who's going to be the top victor, and with both championships on the line to find an ultimate victor. I'm kind of fantasy booking at this point, but I would like those 205 belts kind of going a New Japan route of having the smaller guys, being represented with the tag teams, and then all the other tag teams being represented with, a championship.
Okay.
Yeah,
kind of clean it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's not bad. I also like the idea of a women's tag division being added. You've got women's championships on both shows, but then you've got all the other roster women on the roster that need things to fight for too. So I wouldn't mind with what you said with the brand-specific pay-per-views going away. We could use maybe some less singles or championship, or combining the tag championships wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
Some shit up because you'd have Raw, SmackDown, 205, NXT. It's like you really need that many tag titles between 3 brands, 4 brands now, I guess. It's like, nah, that's too much.
Well, it's just a matter of, do they have all the tag teams on one show, or do the champs go back and forth kind of a thing? So that's something that would have to be addressed. Or with this another thing we haven't really talked about, but the Fox people showing up at WWE shows, the one in Los Angeles last week to be specific, with the rumors that Fox is interested in getting the TV rights once the deal with NBC and USA is up. Does WWE end up on Fox? And of course with the brand-specific pay-per-views going away, would SmackDown go back to being a B show? And will that happen sooner than later anyway? And will SmackDown just end up being like it was before before both brand splits, being just secondary storylines and stuff that doesn't necessarily matter, stuff that's not must-see, and everything goes back to just pretty much the main stuff being on Monday Night Raw, which I again. It's easier to cover, I guess, or whatever, to talk about just one show. But I do like that we're getting more specific storylines for like an AJ Styles on SmackDown or whatever. But again, the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn thing hasn't been the best thing. The Jinder Mahal for 6 months as champion obviously has been what probably killed the SmackDown gimmick anyway. So, but yeah, with Fox possibly coming into play, who knows? I forgot what the hell we were talking about, but killing off extra titles or whatever.
Yeah, I'm saying the Usos are going to retain.
Yeah,
but that's just kind of where my mind has been a little bit, because it's like, yeah, the Bar, they need they need a team to face, but there's just, it's WrestleMania. This is what we've talked about. Manage your fucking time wise. Like, I want Bayley and Sasha to have a fucking fight. I want them to go at it. I want the Bar to put on a clinic. I want to see the Usos have a one-on-one match. Like, multi-man matches, they can be fun. They are totally fun to watch, but I don't need a bunch of them. I don't get paid for this shit.
I do have one question though.
Can I ask a question?
Where does this leave the Bludgeon Brothers for WrestleMania?
Off the card.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
It sucks, but it's part of the game. It's part of the business, and look how long the Usos have been doing in the WWE, and
I'm
they
sorry
still
about that.
haven't been talking about a one-on-one match yet. So. Or just the fucking women's thing you just said earlier. It's part of the game. Shit's changing. Step it up.
Yep. Yeah, and honestly, I like the idea of let's earn your spot on WrestleMania. WrestleMania doesn't have to be a 7-hour marathon. Just put the hottest matches, the biggest matches on the show. And if you're not in the hottest program, step your game up, son. Back to predictions. Joe, what was yours for the Usos and New Day? And let's not forget, the New Day didn't have a match last year either. They were the hosts of WrestleMania. So do they play into? Is there a chance? Joe, what's your prediction?
I'm still sticking with the Usos. I just like those belts on them going into WrestleMania. It just tells the perfect story with them. It's too easy of a story to tell after holding them off of WrestleMania this long.
Mm-hmm. Yup, I can't disagree with that at all.
Well, you're exactly right.
Charlotte Flair versus Ruby Riott for the SmackDown Live Women's Championship. Feels like they're building up Charlotte for Asuka and Nia Jax for Alexa Bliss. Hopefully that's the direction they're going, because the Asuka Bliss thing does not feel like a hot match, and they've done a pretty good job building up Charlotte as this just great champion on SmackDown, and the crowd's behind her, which is good. Everybody says that Charlotte is a better heel, and I think that that's true too, but with the crowds behind her having these credible wins, and she's really been the top female act on SmackDown, and I think this is just a match to cement that legacy further going forward. Ruby Riott, fun. I enjoy what she's doing with the Riott Squad or whatever. Her promo didn't do very much for me this week, but again, it's WWE, the writing.
I feel like it was better than what I've seen out of her, at least promo-wise, and I think that this could be a decent match, especially with the experience that Ruby Riott does.
Awesome.
The match will be great. I just thought her being the dastardly mustache-twirling bad guy was kind of silly.
That,
she has a mustache?
You weren't looking close enough, obviously.
She must have been. I sit here and twirl my mustache constantly.
But yeah, I think it'll be a good match, but I think Charlotte retains. Any other predictions on that one? Predictions!
I really want Ruby Riott to pull out the upset on this one, to fucking throw things out of whack. But yeah, Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte's got to win this. I'm with Taco in the sense that, like, it really would put a kink in WrestleMania plans and what everyone thinks is going to happen, no matter what the determination. But Charlotte Flair also at WrestleMania with that title's not a bad thing.
And yeah, let's have some straight up one-on-one women's matches here. We've been bombarded with the multi-woman matches all year. Let's do Bayley and Sasha. Let's do Charlotte and Clinton Dix.
Asuka.
Asuka Clinton Dix. Charlotte and Asuka. Let's do Nia and Alexa Bliss. Straight up. Let's have some straight up singles matches. Throw the rest of them in I'm trying to think of Great Moolah Memorial Battle Royal or whatever.
The first ever history breaking
So, yeah. Okay, main event. AJ Styles defending his WWE Championship in a six-pack challenge. Did you have something else to say?
We won't get into it.
AJ Styles versus John Cena, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Baron Corbin, and Dolph Ziggler.
Predictions.
I was waiting for the button. I always get thrown off. There's really no way that AJ Styles doesn't walk out of this, right?
I mean, everybody would be so upset. Okay, the only one that wouldn't cause a riot would be John Cena winning, and they do the three-way thing that he was talking about. But Sami Zayn winning, that sucks. Kevin Owens winning, maybe Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens is kind of interesting, but one of those versus Nakamura, Sami Zayn versus Nakamura would be a great rematch from the NXT thing, but the audience isn't clamoring for it, and you've already built up this idea of Nakamura and AJ. It was AJ's promo on Smackdown this week. It's the dream match that everybody wants, and for them to take it away would just be like the ultimate kick in the nuts.
That's what I'm saying. That's what's so kind of fun about it right now. It's like it almost doesn't seem like it's a match about winning the championship to go to WrestleMania. It almost feels like winning a match to go face Nakamura at WrestleMania, and that's what the excitement is.
But everybody wants the singles match with AJ Styles. I mean, I could see the intrigue behind the John Cena match. I think as fans would be like, okay, but I mean, everybody's expecting it to be John Cena and The Undertaker.
Well, that's why I was like, I like that they put John Cena in there, because it's adding that fucking another layer there. It's like, those motherfuckers, they're getting at us on this one, and I hope they don't swerve us. It better be fucking AJ Styles, but yeah, it's just really making it exciting. Like, even fucking that was an awesome Fatal 5-Way match on SmackDown. Like, I can't take anything away from those guys. Baron Corbin looked fucking awesome in that match.
Yeah, the 5-way from SmackDown. And, let's talk about the psychology there. We had the Dolph Ziggler AJ Styles match on SmackDown.
Good match too going on.
It was a great match going on. All of a sudden, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn come out and fuck it up. And I thought we were building up Shane McMahon as this babyface. Everybody was supposed to like Shane McMahon, and he comes out and makes this 5-way match. This is so unfair to AJ Styles and Dolph Ziggler. They had this grueling one-on-one match, beat the shit out of each other, and Shane McMahon rewards the people that attacked him as well as people that weren't even in the fucking match.
Oh, and this guy.
Right, so Shane McMahon is like, aren't we supposed to like him? And he's like, I feel like even AJ had this look on his face. They cut to him really quickly, like, what the fuck, man? Why am I putting me in a match? What are you doing to your WWE champion? Is there still beef between AJ and Shane? There's not supposed to be storyline wise, but goddamn it, with Shane being a heel on TV, I guess since Daniel Bryan wasn't on TV this week, Shane McMahon had to be the heel and have the holla holla moment.
He was doing both sides.
Holla. I'm going to make this a tag team match.
Well, it wasn't a tag team, but it was a 5.
I'm glad it was, and I'm glad it was the match that we thought the pay-per-view main event was going to be, and it turned out awesome. You know, a lot of guys were in there. It could easily be fucking distracting and clusterfucking a complete mess, and it was, but it was fun, and it was awesome, and fucking Sami Zayn with that haluva kick at the end was just fucking perfect timing, perfect spot for everything.
That was really good.
Fucking Baron Corbin with one of the best deep sixes I've ever seen him fucking pull out of nowhere.
Deep six pull out.
Well, let's.
Oh, it's so bituminous of you.
That is so profane,
Joe,
and rude.
Let's talk about the Sami Zayn factor.
Sammy Wow Wow.
Sammy Wow Wow.
For a moment here. So yeah, last week Sami Zayn says in the 6-way, whatever it is, at the pay-per-view at Fastlane, I will lay down for you. Here in the 5-way, he kicks Kevin Owens in the face and wins the match. So I like this little possible rift between these two best friends. Even though Sami Zayn didn't say anything about laying down for him in this match.
Exactly.
I picture these fun spots in this six-pack challenge, as they're calling it. In my head, these fun spots of where there's a moment where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn clear the ring, and everybody else is out of the ring, and it's just the two of them. And then Sami Zayn lays down, Kevin Owens goes for the cover, and then it's
Schoolboy.
it's a mad dash for people to come in and break up the cover because Sami Zayn just keeps laying down for Kevin Owens. I don't think we'll get that because that is some Russo ass shit. But it's kind of fun to picture in your mind at least something like that happening once. But I don't think we'll get that necessarily.
AJ was on top of those fucking pin breaks, though. Just a perfect
big
shot camera work, too. Just, focused in the right spot, not zooming in fucking constantly and switching cuts of the camera. AJ Joel just popping in, ending the pin, and it's just like, good work there.
He broke up all of those near falls in that match. So,
And I want to talk about at the end, like Sami Zayn's promo at the end, for the fact that
Sammy Wow Wow.
just the way he phrased it also makes me think that we might see your lay down and pin still, but just the fact that he's like that tonight was about being the best. Tonight wasn't about the championship. It's not the 6-pack challenge. It's not the pay-per-view. Tonight's about being the best. It has nothing to do with that championship, and I like that aspect of it.
All right. Anything else gearing up for Fastlane? I think my excitement level just chatting about it maybe popped up a notch or two.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm up to Taco's level. I'm up to 7 out of 10.
I might be at about a 6 or so now. All right. Let's move on. Let's talk some 205 Live.
Change the subject. 205 Live.
Weird question.
Are you a cruiserweight? It's a work in progress still. Here's the thing is I wanted to change some stuff with that today, and I forgot to save the program that has all the different machinations of sound bites and whatnot in there. So I was going to add and change some stuff around, and I couldn't do it. And so that's what we have until I redo the entire thing.
I'm for it right now.
So
I'm down.
All right. Well,
I'm not mad at it.
It popped you guys, so I'm happy. So good show this week. We're continuing into the this was what the quarterfinals or whatever, but the things are shaping up. We have the semifinal matches have been decided after this week's show. We're going to get Cedric Alexander versus Roderick Strong next week. That was, of course, decided from last week's show. But some good matches this week. Drew Gulak continues to impress. It's not just this guy is not just fucking PowerPoint presentations and a goofy son of a bitch in a suit. He can get out there without his knee pads on and still look like a tough son of a gun. Just because you're out there with knee pads on or without knee pads on, looking like you're ready to take a swim, does not necessarily mean that you can't go out there and be a tough motherfucker too. He slapped Mark Andrews in the neck so fucking hard that his neck was looking like it was bleeding. His chest was damn near bleeding. I am enjoying the amount of
that's the CZW Gulak there.
I am enjoying the amount of hard chops we are getting, not only here at WWE, but especially on the indie scene lately. People are getting chopped so hard that their chests are bleeding. Fucking, what's his name? Yo from the Roppongi 3K in New Japan got just in an insane chopping contest with Hiromu Takahashi over the weekend and got his chest all beaten like hamburger again. He's a glutton for punishment. He's done this several times now. But anyway, back to 205 Live. There was definitely some of that going on in this Mark Andrews Drew Gulak matchup. Just hard hitting, good stuff from Gulak here. I just really enjoyed Gulak in this match.
Even before the match, the little promo of him saying, I haven't touched my Microsoft Office for weeks, but let me show you what I'm going to fucking do here. Like, he went off, basically, and it wasn't he wasn't saying anything except for that, basically, I'm going to whoop some ass at this point.
Talk about the definition of a promo. You are there to promote your match, and that with that thing that Gulak, I was like, ooh, fuck, I need to see. He said it in the promo. Go out and watch what I do. I'm like, okay, let's. I need to see this. It worked. I was into it. And the match, it helps that the match delivered as well. So yeah, Gulak getting the win with the Dragon Sleeper. Love that he's using the Dragon Sleeper.
That dude's he's just the 205 MVP this whole time. Like,
well, this is the same Drew Gulak that I saw in the Cruiserweight Classic before we had any of the PowerPoint stuff. I don't think he made it out of the first round, but the one match I saw, he was just a hard-hitting motherfucker, and this is what I missed.
And I think this is probably what got him over on the indie scene, too. So it's just him kind of getting back to what got him over in the first place.
He's an amazing wrestler.
Yes. Drake Maverick makes Tozawa and Hideo Itami into a tag team. This plays into what you were talking about, Taka, with the rumors about a cruiserweight tag division starting up, a junior heavyweight tag division, perhaps.
Going to be a big pink belts, too.
Ooh. So we had Tozawa and Itami in a squash match versus...
Just two Divas titles.
Squash match.
That's where those went.
Squash match for the Japanese wrestlers versus two Scanies. Of course, Tozawa and Itami got the win. We had a nice, had a nice Mustafa Ali cell phone promo. I commented that the only thing that could have made this promo more better are obnoxious graphics with words on the screen. Of course, I was being ridiculous. It was a very good promo, and it wasn't like selfie style either. I believe it was a cell phone promo, but somebody else was actually shooting it. He wasn't doing the selfie stick thing or whatever, but none of that fucking matters. The content of the promo, what he said in it, hyping up his match with Buddy Murphy, I thought was what the important thing was. And again, promoted the match and got me interested in the match and just showed a different side of Ali, I thought.
I'm just interested in where he was walking at the end, because he was just walking into darkness.
Somewhere dark in Chicago, I reckon.
I've been big on Mustafa Ali. Again, technically he's on my fantasy team as my cruiserweight, and he's making an awesome run right now, which is awesome. But he was showing this before these matches start. He was one of the few highlights that I've caught of 205 Live before like Triple H really took over, and he's impressed me. So you're exactly right. I would be happy either way, Drew Gulak, Mustafa Ali, wherever we go with that, but I really want Mustafa Ali to get into those finals. I think he's got the attitude and the actual, the in-ring experience that he has to get to there.
Speaking of good promos, the Cedric Alexander, Roderick Strong promo segment. Cedric, he was okay, but what I liked about the Roderick Strong one, it wasn't an interview, it wasn't him talking, saying the same shit. It was Roderick Strong in the gym, throwing sacks around, just being the gym rat that he is, and just like, my goal is WrestleMania. I got one more match to get to win to get to WrestleMania, and that's my goal. Cedric Alexander kind of talked about the same thing, but again, it's been a long time since I've said I really like what they're doing with Roderick Strong, and that was the type of promo that I needed. We're going to get that match next week, Cedric and Roderick Strong. Winner of that goes to the finals, and they're going to take on the winner of Mustafa Ali versus Buddy Murphy. That was this week.
Spoiler.
Another good match. Of course, Joe did spoil it. It was Mustafa Ali getting the win with the crucifix roll-up. Buddy Murphy's gimmick is just that he's a big dude that keeps getting down to that 205 and underweight. Yep. He was down to 196. That's the gimmick. He gets weighed in. It's like, oh my god, he's even lighter now, even though he looks bigger. It's amazing. So that's kind of a.
He looked better in this match. Again, it was versus Mustafa Ali instead of Arya Davari. Davari not that bad, but like Mustafa Ali made him look really good, and then I loved the 450 splash onto Buddy Murphy's arm.
Oh, just that fucking corner. I love that X Factor that Mustafa Ali does too, and that fucking spike that Buddy did just reminded me of old school RVD when he gets slammed into the ground, just spikes head first into the ground. It was awesome seeing that.
Yeah, really nice reverse Rana from Ali, and that tornado DDT was really good too. And then Ali getting the kind of the almost like a roll-up win out of nowhere with the crucifix roll-up. So Buddy Murphy getting away with a little bit of credibility there. But I loved the way he worked the arm. Yeah, that 450 splash to the arm
super awesome.
a great way to kind of cut him off and for Ali to get in some offense there. So,
I'm kind of glad that they didn't go crazy with Buddy Murphy either. I want Mustafa Ali to win, but I don't need Buddy Murphy running all the way to the finals right now. He got a good, decent first match in, made it to the second round, showed me a little more in this match too.
So
Actually took to the air a little bit. So I like where this is going. I'm hoping he can sustain it. And, again, the whole 205 live limit, obviously we can skirt around that a little bit.
Sure.
Well, it gives something to talk about him. He's just been out of the public eye for so long now.
Yeah, and he's had a couple of matches to build him up, got the new gimmick or whatever. And they could work this gimmick too, after he gets knocked out of the tournament like he did this week. Maybe he shows up next week and he's overweight. And he has to have a match with Gold Dust or somebody.
Good question. Is Gold Dust a cruiserweight?
So that certainly could be a possibility there as well.
You got to look what they did with this tournament, though. Every single one of these guys, we did not say a single bad thing about them. They paying themselves in such a good corner, no matter who gets the championship.
Yeah, the good news is they've done a really good job with this tournament. Of course, the whole thing with Triple H running it probably a factor too. Again, what do they do once the tournament is done? That's the question in front of me. Is because it's really easy with this tournament format because all of the matches seem important. There's stakes on the line, stakes and things on the line.
Stakes and weights.
So what happens after the tournament is, and how do they keep the show good and interesting? That's really the question. So we'll see what happens post WrestleMania.
They'll be fine.
So next week we're going to get that Roderick Strong and Cedric Alexander match, and then Drew Gulak versus Mustafa Ali semifinals probably the following week. Then, so
I hope Roderick Strong loses, and then we just see Adam Cole peek his head up like.
Well, speaking of Adam Cole and Roderick Strong and interesting little segments, let's change the subject and talk a little NXT this week.
Change the subject.
NXT.
That was one of my favorite moments from this week's NXT show, where Clinton Dix,
Pete Dunne,
the commissioner,
Regal.
Shawn Michaels,
Regal,
oh.
William Regal's getting
Mick Foley,
interviewed by the by the press that was there and answering some questions. Then Pete Dunne arrives in his skinny jeans and his. It wasn't Pete Dunne. It was Pete Dapper Dunne showing up. Roderick Strong comes in from the side saying, "Hey there, Mr. Dapper Dunne. It was very. I'd like to face you again sometime. That was a hell of a match. It'd be good to face off with you again." And then Adam Cole comes in from the other side to get in his face, give him a little shit, and fucking Kyle O'Reilly in them fucking sunglasses. Kyle O'Reilly has been so fucking entertaining in the background.
Hell yeah.
Adam Cole comes out and he's the star of the Undisputed Era, but then fucking Kyle O'Reilly, he's off to the side in his goddamn sunglasses. When they make that entrance with that fucking sex music,
right?
Kyle O'Reilly comes out looking like he's all greased up from just having sex. He's sauntering out like he's just, like he's got a glow about him. He starts playing air guitar on his fucking championship belt. Kyle O'Reilly is like the standout fun thing in the background going on.
He gets it. I've said it for so long. He's a goofy looking bastard. He's weird. He doesn't really scream star.
I am smitten.
So he needs to do these things. He gets it. He needs to stick out, and he's killing it, man. I'm glad he's doing what he's doing.
So this week started the first round with so many tournaments going on right now.
Right?
It's insane. The Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Clash. Remember a year ago when tournaments were rare and we would get so excited and we would fill out brackets and we would have competitions. But there's so many goddamn tournaments now that we can't even keep up. We forget to fill out brackets entirely, and we just completely fallen off the game.
Glad we don't have a Quail Cup right now.
Nevertheless, we are still very excited and interested in the tournaments, and a hell of an opening round match here. Authors of Pain versus TM61, a rematch from the last Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic final. finals, and I think a lot of people expected TM61 to get the win here. They've been getting kind of the big video packages, looking like the cool comeback tag team, and everybody was speculating, well, the Authors of Pain are bound to go up any day now. Joe, I think you and your buddy had an interesting theory on the Authors of Pain.
Well, we were thinking that maybe Authors of Pain, they get knocked out of this really quick. We still got a month before WrestleMania. Going back to the War Machine thing, in the same sense, Authors of Pain come out and answer the Bar's challenge. The fuck did I say?
Authors of Pain. I'm just like thinking of them like in like blue jeans and like a white like gray shirt. Like,
yeah.
Hey guys.
But again, Authors of Pain would have been awesome, but obviously they're busy.
Yeah, they won the match. They won with the last chapter. 2 close near falls get broken up. A brutal apron bomb from one of the Authors of Pain onto TM61, and they just knock both guys out and get the win. So where does
Shane Thorne took that power bomb.
Yeah, that was just brutal looking. Authors of Pain moving on. Where did TM61 go from here? Then Bianca Belair took on Zelina Vagabond. Bianca Belair, squash match for her, just continuing to get her over. That was fine. Next week, we're going to get Lacey Evans versus Dakota Kai. Lacey Evans cut I don't know, what would you, like a Southern Belle style promo kind of thing. No. But Shayna Baszler sidled in on the interview and said she's still waiting for Ember Moon's response to her challenge. So they're kind of painting Ember Moon as running away from Shayna Baszler a little bit here. Even though I think Ember Moon, didn't she respond with a tweet like right away, like anytime, any place?
I thought she ran out of minutes.
That could be. I don't know. Tommaso Ciampa comes out and doesn't say a goddamn thing, and the crowd responds, and it was absolutely glorious. Just comes out with the crutch, and doesn't need the crutch, but he has it there, and everybody's booing and fuck this guy and all of this. I thought it was great.
Oh, it was wonderful. It's exactly what we needed. You know, he's the fucking Blackheart. He wears that shirt and he says, yeah, it's a pretty fucking cool shirt. You don't get it. I do. And just that whole attitude, and then just him going for the microphone and then just getting booed every time.
The Roman Reigns treatment.
It was pretty fun. I like that he kept moving around like throughout, just like, I'm over here. I'm over here.
Decides to go to leave, and the crowd starts doing the bye-bye song. And he surprisingly grabbed the sign from the fan in the crowd.
He snatched him balls.
The Johnny Gargano side. So tore up the sign and smashed
it
with the crutch in the ring. Just great heat. And it just shows he didn't have to say anything. Everybody's invested in this story. Everybody's into it, except for a couple of smarky motherfuckers in full, not Full Sail. They were in center stage. If there were a few people chanting Johnny sucks when they were chanting Johnny Wrestling, so I don't know who those guys are. But I guess there are some Ciampa fans out there that are just a fan of his from the wrestling side.
And Angle sucks and Primus sucks, so we're good.
Yeah, it's true. Primus does suck.
Johnny Wrestling does not suck. So
Strawberry Girls.
And then the big main event this week was Aleister Black versus Killian Dane. Another fun match. Killian Dane dominating here, making us hope and pray that Aleister Black can escape again. He's working over the ribs, fucking hitting big ass senton bombs and slamming him around, and just downright mean, that goddamn Killian Dane. So awful.
That bastard.
So dastardly. Aleister Black gets the black mass out of nowhere and knocks him out and gets the win, so that was a lot of fun.
I feel like we're going to come back to this one.
Absolutely.
I just felt like this match needed 5 more minutes, but I probably would have said that, given 5 more minutes, it would have been 5 more minutes with these two.
Again,
they can rip each other fucking apart.
It left us wanting something more, and that black mass out of nowhere, we're like, ooh, there it is, boom, ooh, it popped me, ooh, there it is, and they hit.
As long as we can avoid the close-ups on Killian Dane, I'm cool.
If you go back to our this week's Strong Honor episode, we talked about Okada and Ospreay kind of leaving us more. And I kind of thought the same with this match, where it was like, it was fucking awesome, but I want to see some fucking gold on the line or something on the line where they just want each other's heads.
Right, yeah, with more stakes on the line, stakes and weights.
Stakes and weights.
We did have that awesome heavy machinery promo.
Fucking screaming.
He was just dragging Otis behind him as he's lifting
2 barbells.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
So, yeah, next week we are going to get some more opening matches from the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. The Sports Entertainers, Sabatelli and Moss taking on Eric Young and Alexander Wolf. And the aforementioned Heavy Machinery taking on the Street Profits in what should promise to be a very fun and entertaining match.
Oh, it'll be great.
And as well, another really good match here that should be for next week. I
kind of want to see Street Profits win and fucking him try to do his leg thing to like Otis and not move him. You know when he tries like do his leg sweeps and kick the opponents out of the ring after he like the Street Profits win. I'm having a brain fart of his name right now.
It's a really good idea, Montez Ford.
There we go.
I think it's a really good idea to have them beat Heavy Machinery just for the fact that Authors of Pain absolutely destroyed the Street Profits, if I remember correctly.
That's right. We already had that match.
And getting that comeback win, but that leads Street Profits into the finals. And while I like Street Profits, I don't see him in the finals.
And we all need to see Heavy Machinery versus Authors of Pain.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
I think that really needs to happen. So that we'll be rooting for the stakes and weights next week. Big main event next week. Adam Cole versus Pete Dunne for that UK title. Maybe some more gold going towards the Undisputed Era. Who
Gotta
knows?
be awesome to see him wearing that.
But it's still Pete Dapper Dunne coming out there looking good. Looking really good for a ugly son of a bitch.
Right?
Talk about close-ups being a bad thing.
That's why I like him. He's just fucking nasty.
Exactly. That's his appeal, is that he's a dirty, mean son of a gun. But yeah, that should be a fun matchup
He's
next
fighting
week.
Skrull too coming up.
Pete Dunne is?
Not in. I don't know if it was like what promotion it was, but yeah, for the first time ever, they're facing each other.
Nice, probably somewhere in the UK.
Yeah,
interesting.
But I'm just saying, like, think about like fucking just even a year ago, how would we even think about fucking indie guys coming in and out of WWE and having a cup of coffee with fucking Marty Scurll one day and then Adam Cole the next day? Oh wait, Adam Cole's in the WWE. What the fuck is going on?
Those UK guys have those really unique contracts where they can basically go and do whatever indies they want, pretty much, with some exceptions.
It's only a select few of them that they're really using
mostly the UK indies too. So it's not like they're going to, not like Pete Dunne's going to PWG or AAW
or anything.
Something. Yeah, it's just the UK stuff that they were doing before. So. All right, well, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this week, I think.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I got nothing else. So make sure you go check out Strong Honor this week because, yeah, there's a lot of cool, interesting stuff going on with the Bullet Club, New Japan, really great match that we talked about between Will Ospreay and Kazuchika Okada. Non-title match, but it's still good stuff. And, of course, the recent launch of Honor Club. We had the first Honor Club show. We talked about that and previewed the big Ring of Honor pay-per-view this weekend. Dalton Castle defending the title versus
Clinton Dix.
Damn it! I was on the tip of my tongue, and then you said Clinton Dix. Dalton Castle versus Jay Lethal, of course. Cody getting his Ring of Honor back, hopefully, versus Matt Taven, and a bunch of other really fun matches coming up for Ring of Honor this weekend. So check all of those out on Strong Honor, as well as preview the New Japan Cup Single Elimination Tournament starting this weekend. Winner gets to choose whatever New Japan champion he gets to face. So breaking all that down over there on Strong Honor. So make sure to check that out. BestProWrestlingPodcast.com on this podcast feed and on its own exclusive Strong Honor feed. Go to your podcast giver and look up Strong Honor. Should be able to find it there. Okay, follow me on Twitter at Tommy Stryker, spell Stryker with a Y. Follow the show at BPW Podcast. On Twitter, on Facebook, facebook.com/bestprowrestlingpodcast. Hey, email the show, bestprowrestlingpodcast@gmail.com. Taco, where can people find you?
Follow me on Twitter at HGREV Taco.
And if you want to have some fun, check out the SLTD Wrestling Fantasy League. I'm number 1, by the way. Just wanted to point that out and bring that up for that exact reason, because I'm awesome.
I moved up from number 5 to number 2, so I'm nipping at your heels.
Yeah, but you noticed that you said you're number 2. I'm number 1.
I know. I'm making a comeback. I'm selling right now. I'm gonna come back from commercial. I'm gonna give you 3 elbows to the gut, off the ropes, duck the line, and then 3 clothesline comeback. We're going to false finishes. I'm taking you out with the goddamn crucifix roll up. Where can we find you online, Joe?
You can follow me at JoeBPWP. That's at Joe. That's for Wrestling Podcast.
Thank you for checking out the show. Make sure you spread the word, rate, review, and subscribe. Bye.
Peace.
Larson. A midlife crisis because he does all those screaming karate moves. Yep.
So wait now. So your buddy, he's from Wisconsin, but his favorite football team
is the Miami Dolphins.
What the fuck? How the fuck does a guy from Wisconsin like the Miami Dolphins?